Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to This Week in Bitcoin. Oh, what a week it was. Today is November the 16th. 2018. Strong hand, unconfiscatable apex predator. That's what we learned yesterday when Trace Mayer was on this very show. Check out the links below. That is linked to, that was an incredible show. If you're talking about apex predators, it must have went totally crazy. But this show will be even wilder because Trace was just in the United States. I've got an international panel here. Oh yeah, brother. Coming from Zimbabwe is Tawanda Kembo. George Donnelly. He's coming. He's making his first appearance on this show, and he's in Colombia, of course. And we've got MoneyTrigz in Europe at some undisclosed location. He's so secret, he's just got a black square there. Okay. And the links to these guys are below, so you can check out who they really are. They're awesome dudes, and this is going to be quite an adventure today. So the main story of the week in crypto was obviously the Bcash fork, and it's kind of been it's definitely jumped the shark in many different ways, and I don't want people to freak out about it, but people did freak out about it during the week. Clearly, there's been all sorts of turbulence in the cryptocurrency market. So we're going to start with the very outspoken MoneyTrigz to tell us what's going on with the Bcash fork, cryptocurrency, and Bitcoin where you are. So take it away, MoneyTrigz.
Okay, well, let's talk about what it means first, right? Because Bcash is dead. No, yeah, because the BCH chain is gone.
Well, yeah, it's split in two. It is there's two.
Yeah,
but one will reclaim the name. That's what the battle's all about.
If you go to BitPay right now, right, that's their puppy company that they control. The BCH is not active. It's not working. You can't pay. You can't send money. That chain is dead, right? All the exchanges, all the wallets, BitPay, all the ATMs, everybody has to do now developing work, have to do extra expenses. Like it's not a good thing at all.
I mean, also, it was predicted that Bcash would be useless right after the fork because people are scared there's going to be all sorts of shenanigans going on. There's no replay protection.
Let's remind ourselves, it's just been a year. It's just been a year. They already lost. The chain doesn't exist. Everybody has to adapt. Everybody has to put expenses and work to do the changes. But the BCH ticker is gone. Binance already announced, like you can go to his Twitter right now. He said the tickers that are there right now stay and will not be changed. So that means BCH ABC is ticker number 1. BCH SV is ticker number 2. BCH is gone. And Binance already officially made that statement. And it technically is, the chain is dead. Everybody has to now change it. So it doesn't exist anymore.
This entire incident and the characters involved, you've been tweeting about it a little bit here and there. And you said that that it was a BCH, that karma is a BCH.
Yeah, I wasn't the first one.
No, you weren't. Now, I'm not into destruction. I think people should be producing. I'm into altcoins and doing their experimentation. I'm not a big fan of what fake Satoshi was proposing. We're going to destroy the other side. But you thought it was just karma, basically, coming back.
This is one of the best. Well, the best scenario would have been when the core dev found the bug to split the chain, was to split it right there and just short the shit out of it. But this is the second best thing, right? Is them, the sociopaths going at it and taking out each other, which was to be expected, right? Because you have a bunch of people that got rich thank you to Bitcoin and got so rich that their egos became so big that they thought, one, that they could top and flip Bitcoin, right? And then this happens because, oh, the 5 crazy sociopaths that are close to being billionaires, oh, they can't work together because they all have a different opinion. Oh, what's surprising? So now you have 2 weaker chains, and this is fantastic for Bitcoin because all that propaganda and information they were pumping out is for nothing right now. And this is our second best case scenario.
Okay, I was going to ask you, what does this mean for the Bitcoin space? But earlier in the week, did you think it had a negative impact on the crypto space? I mean,
this is great. This is, just think about it. If you're thinking about putting money into a long-term, a safe vehicle, this is exactly what you would not want to do, right? So this was a warning, like, people stay away from this because, you know, it is very experimental, and it's also controlled by clearly only like 5 people.
All right, now I want to ask George. Welcome to this. This is George's first appearance on the show. I've known about George for a while. He's an awesome, smart dude. Okay, where you are, the way you've been following all this, has this been negative for the crypto space? And since you're a Dash person, you're a Dash fan, a Dash promoter, Bcash is really a direct competitor of Dash. They try to make themselves out to be, you know, the digital cash of the world, but I mean, like, right now you can't even use it. So what are your thoughts on this situation and what it means for the overall space?
Well, here's the thing. The crypto space is so small right now. It's like we're a bunch of ants in a far corner of a football field beating each other up. When we have a whole football field, we could be working together to colonize. So I just think it's a terrible shame to see all of this happening with Bitcoin Cash, and to see the whole ecosystem. I mean, so much of the ecosystem consumed in petty battles. It's just a shame to see it. It's one of the reasons why I stopped kind of being active in crypto around 2014, because I just didn't, all I saw was personality battles. I didn't really see any way to move forward.
Well, I'm of the mind that productivity always defeats destruction in the long run. That destruction, you know, you can't keep that up. It's unsustainable. So I'm glad this is out of the system. I will say that. And yeah, these you know, the drama isn't, it's not it's a short-term blip, but it can freak some people out and give them some weak hands in terms of crypto, in terms of Bitcoin. I mean, there were probably a lot of people that wanted to bail on crypto this week after all this. But I bring all this up, and I had Trace on yesterday to just show that, you know what, ignore it. You know, it doesn't have to consume you, but it was a big story, so that is why I'm bringing it up. And also, you know, I thought, and on your end, and well, you'll get to talk about this a little later on about Dash's why Dash is superior to Bcash. But let's go to Tawanda. Has got a unique take on this also, because you run an exchange. You run the largest exchange in Zimbabwe. So how did this situation affect you? Obviously, you're going to end up with 2 coins, possibly. Who knows? I think you're muted. Oh, Tawanda.
Oh,
there
sorry
you
about
go.
That. It's yeah, obviously we're going to have 2 coins. So I've got 2 different thoughts. The first being, we run an exchange. So our job is really to make money from people trading. So when you think of it this way, like the fork doesn't really affect us that much. It could help us, but it doesn't really affect us when you look at it from that perspective, from us being an exchange. In fact, I think it helps us to some extent, because like once we list both tokens, it bumps up our volume a little bit. That's what we've seen from previous forks. But then on the second thought I have is, I think it's also unfortunate it came to this. And I say this because the way we think of cryptocurrency at Collective, we think of cryptocurrency is money with superpowers. And when you look at the thousands of cryptocurrencies they are, I think we see this view, especially coming from Africa, where we have real money problems. It's harder to do international payments, online payments, get access to credit at good terms, etc. And so we we tend to see, especially in this part of the world, cryptocurrencies become more successful because of the superpowers they have. So if it's a cryptocurrency like RightMesh, which allows you to get easy access to internet or share your internet connection, will likely have a good use case in this part of the world. And then when you look at Bitcoin Cash and the split, you have two different chains without neither of them is a very strong value proposition when you think of it in terms of superpowers, and that's going to damage it even more. So I think when it was just one coin, it stood a better chance of success than it does now. It's going to be very hard to recover from this, is my opinion.
Now, down in South Africa, we've got Lorian Gamarov, who you know, obviously, that's why I bring him up. And you know, and he is big into saying that people need to spend their cryptocurrency now. And that's what Bcash is all about. And he's grown a Bcash community of sorts down there. Is there a Bcash community where you are? Do people have interest in spending crypto where you are?
Where I'm from, there's a big liquidity crisis. So there's not enough cryptocurrency going on around. So people will buy whatever they can. It's the price of Bitcoin in Zimbabwe, for instance, is 4 times what it is internationally. And so people will buy what they can, because you can't send money internationally via the banks anymore. And we import a lot of stuff. So people don't care what it is, as long as you can send it to another exchange somewhere in the world, people will buy it.
Yeah, so you're basically saying that the main use case for crypto right now in Zimbabwe is to get value out of the country still.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it can be Dash, it can be Bcash, it can be Litecoin or Bitcoin. They just would because they all get you out of there. And yes, I was with Tawanda in Zimbabwe in November of 2016, and I saw the bank lines for myself that you can't get money out of the country unless you wait in line and get $50 out of the bank, and then I guess carry it with you out of the country. And that's why crypto is awesome. Pound that freaking like button, people. Okay, I want to go back, and I want to just get this out of the system too, because this is an interesting concept, and I don't even know if MoneyTrigz has heard about this. I bet he has, though. The shark pool. Have you heard about it, MoneyTrigz?
I've heard about it. Yeah, don't know much of the details though. I know they were going to attack the Bcash chain or something like that.
Well, this is what they are. I'm going to read this so all three of you can give your opinions on this. This shark pool miners will exclusively mine empty blocks on altcoins and sell the profits for Bcash. And then one of their fans says, and this is all linked to below, Bitcoin miners have an incentive to join Shark Pool, use resources to destroy alts, grow stronger themselves, and stand a chance in 2 years. So this is encouraging behavior to destroy altcoins. And I'm not, again, I like productivity over destruction. So MoneyTrigz, what do you think about this shark pool concept?
You know, Adam, you have to understand, anything that can be done will be done, right? So you might think it's malicious, but it's been programmed that way. Just like Bitcoin and Pool has been mining empty blocks for, forever. Like literally forever. Okay, so it's part of the game. If it's been set up that way, you're supposed to handle it, right? If it affects you, then there's something you have to correct there. But Bitcoin has been getting empty block mined by Antpool for a very long time and able to sustain it. And that's why, SegWit was the implementation that we were going to put against them.
All right. George, what do you think about this concept?
I think it's absolutely unacceptable to have people in the ecosystem who are talking about causing just wanton destruction like that. I mean, if he has any relationship to Satoshi, Craig Wright, then he must be an evil Satoshi from another universe, because This guy, I sometimes enjoyed the things he has had to say, but this is absolutely unacceptable behavior. This is just wild, savage, nonsensical, self-destructive talk, and he needs to stop. And we need to cut him out of the ecosystem, frankly.
Well, that's what do we call that? It's shunning, or I mean, well, I think most people. Now, by the way, I do want to clarify one thing. This is Shark Pool saying this, but Fake Satoshi approved of this. I mean, he has a similar tone. The destructive talk. I mean, it's worse than this, in fact. But that was an interesting point that MoneyTrigz says. If it can be done, it will be done. I hadn't actually thought about that. I hadn't thought of it, but that doesn't mean it should be done. How about that?
Well, luckily with Dash, we use a different algorithm. We use X11, so you can't just take machines from other coins and point them at Dash. It doesn't work that way. So in that sense, and also with our masternode owner, we're quite protected from this kind of.
Actually, Dash is much cheaper to attack than Bitcoin. Much cheaper.
Well, if you want to buy a bunch of ASICs for X11, I mean, you can get.
No, you guys have to start to think. When people want to do attacks like that, it's actually a good thing because you're getting free OPSEC work. Because if a coin becomes supposedly big enough, how are you going to be able to combat a foreign state when they want to attack you, right? So attacks are good if a coin is seriously wanting to become big, because Bitcoin has gone through all the attacks and it is still active bounty for it.
Sure, so, we've been around for 5 years as well, but yeah, it's a great.
I know before Dash it was Darkcoin. I knew Dash when it was Darkcoin.
Awesome.
But the smaller chains have higher probability of getting attacked because it's much cheaper to attack. The only one that cannot be attacked right now with the current systems is Bitcoin. Just purely
because we use a different algorithm, you can't just. My point is just that you can't.
No, yeah, you can't use ASIC SHA-256.
Right.
But
but I understand your point. Absolutely. Totally.
Yeah. So, George, for the OPSEC side of things, you're about to say something.
Me?
Yeah, I thought you were about because you were like, yeah, I like your point that okay. Tawanda, third party on this here. What do you think about the Shark Pool thing?
Yeah, I think it won't help much in the long run. So if it doesn't kill you, it makes you stronger. So yeah, I don't think it's going to help much in the long run. Maybe in the short term, I think it's more a publicity stunt. But I don't think it's going to be that effective. Like they could kill off maybe projects that are not serious. But I think in the medium to long term, it's not going to work. I'm not confident it would work.
I want to say Josh Kohout in the super chat sent $4.99. Thank you very much. He says Nebraska versus Maryland in 2023. He wants me to go to, because I'm from Maryland originally, and as a taxpayer of the state of Maryland, my taxes go to pay for the University of Maryland football team. So why not in the year 2023, when Maryland plays Nebraska on November the 11th, 2023, go visit Josh and see Maryland play the Cornhuskers. Thank you for that $4.99. And dude, I am looking forward to the year 2023, not because Maryland's playing at Nebraska, but what will the crypto space be like if that's exactly like 5 years from now? So yeah, if everything's going according to plan, maybe I'll jump into Trace Mayer's private jet and he'll land me there and I'll hang out. No, I don't know, dude. But it makes me smile thinking about the future. Well, let's go back to the show. And Tawanda, I remember when I was in Zimbabwe at your conference that you put on, and there was a Dash presence there. At least there was a Dash sign. What has been your Are you still interacting with the Dash people? What are your thoughts on Dash?
I do like Dash a lot, especially because of the proposal system. So they funded several projects all over Africa, and they like that is obviously a significant way to bring more people into crypto. I guess I think like I think the Dash presence was was a sponsorship by a guy who was traveling throughout Africa. I think doing some sort of road trip that was funded by the Dash. That was all funded by the Dash proposal system. Yeah, and I think that's very cool that Dash has a huge marketing budget every month to just fund and support projects and help with adoption. I wish more stuff could be done on the continent where there are, and you know this, Adam, you've been to Africa a couple of times, where there are real money problems, and cryptocurrency solves a number of these today. And like the biggest ones being payment problems, which are solved by Dash today as well. So.
All right, now, with all that said, it's time to hear George's take on Dash. And he's in Colombia. And there is a lot. What I've always said about Dash is they've got the marketing and they've got the outreach. And some people don't like that. Some people are like, oh, the cryptocurrency shouldn't be able to do that. But Dash is Dash. It's able to do this. You got to deal with it. So tell us what's going on the ground there in Colombia, George. And, you know, I'm a guy who likes savings over spending. Dash, you spend. And also talk, you know, compare it to Bcash and everything. Take it away, George.
Okay. Well, here in Colombia, what we've been doing for the last few months is just getting merchants, right? Because, you know, you can have something that you call money. You can tell everybody it's money, but until you have places where you can spend it for real stuff, is it really money? I don't think so. And so Dash, we now have across the globe more than 4,000 Dash accepting merchants. Here in Colombia, we're around 215 now, focused in the city of Medellin. We're also doing events where we give out a little bit of Dash, open wallets. We've got more than 1,000 active wallet users in the city now. So, yeah, we're doing exciting things here. We're building from the ground up, you know, as opposed to most of the rest of the ecosystem that has their flashy conferences and their badge collections and is all wrapped up eating your own tail over there. We're doing the real groundwork here to make Dash into real money that real regular people use. And so, yeah, I don't know. You know, I think that we are way ahead. Every day I meet people, I open their wallet, I get them set up as a merchant. And I'm like, after we're all done, I say, hey, have you ever heard of Bitcoin? They're like, no, what's that? So I don't know. You know, I think that I can drop the mic at this point, frankly.
Mic drop. No, well, I do. If Bcash was fully functional right now, again, they're saying I mean, Lauren Gamarov's building a whole darn wallet around Bcash, that they're the digital cash. What makes Dash better than Bcash?
Well, first of all, Dash has our governance system. We are a DAO, the first DAO. The others are copying us. And so we have a budget process. We have 6,176 Dash every month that come out of the block reward that we vote on to decide what improvements we will make to the network each month. So even in a down market, we have close to $1 million of purchasing power every month to improve software, update wallets, pay for Dash Colombia, projects in Venezuela, projects in Africa. Bitcoin Cash can't do that. They just can't do it. And so it's just inevitable. We are already ahead of Bitcoin Cash just on that front alone, and our lead will only continue to grow. What's more, we have Instant Send, which using our masternode network, which has been running for a long time now, I'm not sure how long, much more effective and proven than the Lightning Network. And we can send payments even from mobile wallets that effectively receive 5 confirmations within 1.3 seconds. So this is true instant digital payments that even work from mobile wallets that doesn't even depend on, it's not zero conf. I mean, you get 5 confirmations. The masternodes lock those inputs until the next block. So nobody else has that.
Explain the masternode concept real quick, because a lot of people are confused about that.
So basically, a Dash masternode, if you can get 1,000 Dash together, that's your collateral, and from there you put a server, a masternode server on the network, for example at AWS or DigitalOcean, and basically that runs a bunch of governance functions, and it handles instant send payments. And it adds value to the network. And so masternode operators receive an annual return of about 5 to 7% on their Dash collateral. And then I think the biggest value that the masternode network offers, which we're now nearly 5,000 masternodes, so that's about 60% of the outstanding Dash supply that's actually locked up in masternodes. That's a side benefit. Basically, when you want to send an instant send payment, be it from your mobile wallet, your desktop wallet, basically it will connect with a set of masternodes who will essentially vote, but in real time, but lock the input to be sure it can't be double spent until such time as the next block comes. And our blocks are about every 2.6 minutes. So our block time is faster than Bitcoin as well. So that's basically the masternode 101.
All right, MoneyTrigz, any thoughts on Dash, masternodes, proof of work, proof of stake, anything? Where did oh, MoneyTrigz, he's gone. What happened? Did you
The CIA are on him.
No.
They found him.
No, he's like maybe he was like, Dash, no, and then he like hung up by accident. All right, well, he'll have thoughts.
The truth can be hard for some to accept.
All right, so let's get some. People talk about Zimbabwe a lot when they talk about financial catastrophes and why cryptocurrency is necessary there, and people write all these articles about crypto in Zimbabwe, but they've never even been to Zimbabwe. So here we got a guy that's on the ground in Zimbabwe. What's the latest? You have a new president. What does that mean for crypto? And also talk about that article that I linked to below, where it says, what does it say here? Unlicensed foreign currency traders face 10 years in jail. Take it away.
I think it's important to first take a step back and then go back to 2009 to give people some context. So in 2009, Zimbabwe had the worst inflation the world has ever seen. Inflation was so high. I remember walking into a bar with enough money to buy 6 beers, and so I'd buy a 6-pack and carry it to my table. And the reason I bought a 6-pack is because the prices were going up so fast. The price would have gone up after finishing 1 beer. So it made sense to just buy all my beers and carry them to my table. So it was so crazy. People just stopped using the Zimbabwean dollar. Even the government stopped accepting it as a form of payment, and people just switched to the US dollar overnight. So if you understand how money works, and this is how fiat money works all over the world. So fiat money is not really backed by anything. It's governments just print as much of it as they can. In fact, governments spend more money than they collect from taxes, and they make up for the difference by printing money. If you are to calculate it over a 50-year period or 30-year period, you actually the money the government collects from you in taxes is lower than what you lose to inflation. But because it happens over a long time, a lot of people don't realize how much they lose to inflation. In Zimbabwe, it was just happening so fast. So inflation was just so fast, and the government was printing as much money as it can. So we switched to the US dollar, but that didn't solve the problem because the government continued to spend. So we're now a US dollar economy, but the way the government would spend money is they'll just add zeros to a bank account and then use that to pay bills and pay for flights and and pay civil servants. And so we ended up with billions of money in our banking system, which is not backed by actual USD cash. And people started to realize that the money in our account is not really US dollar when you couldn't do international payments, or you went to your bank and you couldn't get cash. Your bank would tell you the maximum you can get is $50. And now it's now almost impossible to get cash. And so a black market developed. So if you've got $50 in your bank account, I'll give you $25 cash. So people will exchange the US dollars in their bank account for US dollars cash at a premium. And this has been going on for a while. Like anyone who imports stuff does this. Anyone who pays for web hosting outside the country, or pays for their iTunes subscription, or Apple Music subscription, or anything like that. Anyone who buys anything online has to somehow buy cash on the black market with and so the government is trying to control this. So they passed a law and said anyone caught doing it. So we know everyone is doing it, but anyone who gets caught will spend 10 years in jail. So.
Yeah, I have a question for Tawanda. Tawanda, do you think hyperinflation is helpful for crypto adoption, or is it hurtful or neutral? What do you think?
I think it's really helpful because now, like if inflation is not fast, so inflation is there all over the world, but it takes a long time to see. If you had to look at the US dollar, for instance, it's, what you can buy with $1,000 today, you could buy with $100 100 years ago. But because it takes a long time for people to see this, it's, a lot of people are not aware that they are losing a lot of wealth to inflation. Sure. And people won't realize it unless there is hyperinflation. So when the inflation is hyperinflation and the prices are going up so fast, people start to see that an alternative store of value, which is designed to be deflationary, is a better alternative, and that pushes crypto adoption. But it also pushes the premium on cryptocurrency because there's now more demand than there is supply. But it's the only way to preserve your wealth.
But so, I mean, let's say people, they can have dollars, right? Which is probably the default, or they can get crypto. Which is easier to get, or which do people prefer?
It's easier to get. It's much better to get crypto.
But is it easier? Now you can. It might be better in your opinion, but which is easier for the regular person?
It's not a fair question, and let me say why. It's US dollars are not. It depends on how you get them. So if you are getting them via something like Western Union will give them to you as cash. So that's a better option. But if you're lucky, but it's a lot easier to get cash via Western Union. If you get it via bank transfer, you can't take that money outside the bank once it lands. So it basically loses half of its value by the time it hits bank account in Zimbabwe. Because once it goes in, you can't take it out. Crypto is a lot better because if they are your keys and it's your wallet, you can. Crypto is a lot better when you look at it from that perspective.
So how do people on the ground? Sorry, let me get it last question. So how do people on the ground actually buy crypto?
That's the problem we're solving. We've got an exchange.
Yeah, but so how do they interact with your exchange? Do they have to go to a physical location or what?
It's all online, so you can do bank transfers online. You can. We've got something called mobile money. So mobile money is like a bank account which is provided by your mobile network operator.
So like cell phone minutes? That kind of a thing, or is it different?
You could liken it to like cell phone minutes, except you can send your balance, you can use it to make payments, you can keep it there, savings. Every merchant accepts it, and so mobile money is bigger than you don't really need a bank account if you're in Africa. You just need to have a mobile phone. So we also allow you to buy or sell cryptocurrency using mobile money.
Awesome, very nice.
You mentioned Western Union. I thought that wasn't even working in Zimbabwe. Is it? Does it even work in Zimbabwe?
It works sometimes. It works sometimes, but it's not that reliable. So you could go to a few locations and they'll be telling you we don't have cash, we don't have cash. But it does work sometimes.
Lovely. Okay, so is there anything else you want to tell the world about what's going on with Zimbabwe and crypto and the exchange and the situation? Again, how's been life on the ground since the new president took over?
Well, I guess not much has changed. It's but things have just gotten worse. So the thing about Zimbabwe is the way money in the banking system works internationally, it works the same way in Zimbabwe, except it's just happening faster. So a crisis will likely happen faster in Zimbabwe because our government is not printing its own money. Like we've had like many runs on the bank, we've had like serious cash shortages, we've had like lots of shortages of goods in the shops, like prices shooting. So we're using the US dollar, but inflation is back. So prices have doubled, I think, in the last 3 weeks or so. So it's crazy because people start to open their eyes and realize that the money that is in the bank account is not backed by it's not so US dollars are not real money. Like Bitcoin is real money, US dollars are not real money. But the money in the bank account is not backed by real US dollars, which are not even real money.
Is the money in the bank account bond notes? Is that what they're calling it, or?
So a bond note was a temporary solution that the government used to as a substitute for cash because of the serious US dollar cash shortages. And so they printed a note they called the bond notes, which you could they tried to peg its price as 1:1 to the US dollar, but people know it's not the case. Like if you walk in a store and you try to buy with bond notes, and you're lucky that they accept them, that they'll be charging a premium for those.
Oh God! Well, I wish you well with the situation there. Do keep us updated. It's always great to get the on the ground information. What's really going on in Zimbabwe? Well, I don't know where MoneyTrigz has really fallen off the
He just couldn't handle the truth about that.
I don't know what it was. I was going to ask him. I mean, there's obviously something that people haven't noticed. And again, market cap. This is one reason why market cap doesn't mean anything. But XRP Ripple is like #2 on the coin market cap list now. All of a sudden,
that's an embarrassment.
Well, yeah, and I was sure MoneyTrigz would clearly have some things to say about that one. Oh well, I did want to. I wanted to make a comment about yesterday's show, and because there have been a number of people in the comments section and on Twitter who are a little confused about this. And basically, when Trace Mayer was talking about like the premium best way of storing Bitcoin, it was like getting a new computer and taking all these other steps, okay? And I always say, just get a Trezor. He says people should learn how to, store it themselves, control the private key, and so that they'll be able to, when there's a fork, they'll even be able to get all the forks right away. They'll be so knowledgeable. And again, and so people were like, what's wrong with Trezor? People were emailing me, tweeting at me, what's wrong with Trezor? Why is it bad? Why did he say it was bad? He didn't say it was bad. I mean, he said he gave his scenario of what the best storage situation is. Now, you got to understand something else about Trace. He's got a lot of Bitcoin, How much? I don't know. But he's not just going to put it on a Trezor. He's got so much that he's got to be an expert. And he's a very, very smart man. So everyone put that in perspective when everyone's like, what, is there a security flaw with the Trezor? Like all these, no, Trezor is great. I use a Trezor. I use hardware wallets. Okay. I don't go to the lengths that Trace actually talked about. I haven't bought a new computer. There's a certain type of computer he said to buy and do. And I haven't done those things. Not everyone can do those things. And for me, the best solution is the Trezor. Okay, is a hardware wallet. But if you do everything perfectly and really know what you're doing, then apparently it's even safer to do it the way that Trace did it. But I mean, there's only so much a person could do. A person only has so much time during the day to learn everything. Yeah. The bottom line is also that learn as much as you can, but not everyone is advanced and not everyone is going to become that advanced. And we do need user-friendly solutions that are super duper safe, like Trezors and other hardware devices. And again, people, we're very early on in all this also. So I wanted to add that. I don't know if George, were you about to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say, don't you think, like, let's just taking a step back and looking at all the hubbub about how to store Bitcoin securely, don't you feel like that's just a sign of how misdirected the ecosystem is? Like, everybody's worried about how do I hoard my magical internet money rather than how do we build something here, you know?
Well, but there's the concept of be your own bank. And being having a bank account isn't about hoarding necessarily. It's about just controlling your money. So I would just say cryptocurrency gives you the freedom to be your own bank, gives you more freedom with your finances, and you should be able to safely manage that freedom. That's what I would say. And even if you're going to spend it right away, you should have there should be safe places to store it where you're relying on yourself. Because we're at a situation now when people are getting into altcoins and some people are buying, they're like, well, yeah, Dash is cool. I like Dash, but they're just keeping it on the exchange. We can't leave it at that level. We can't leave people's storage knowledge at that level of leave it on the exchange. So I'd say let's talk about what things that would encourage hoarding. Then you're not just the extreme other side of it. I would say let's talk about that, because I think it's better to be super safe than to have people just relying on these exchanges and stuff. Yeah,
sure, but I mean, there's an intermediate position. I mean, you can leave your coins on Coinbase, or you can like buy a vault and special computers, right? There's a lot of space in between the two. But you're right. You have a very good point, because in fact, there are people I talk to here who know a little bit about crypto, and I'm like, well, which wallet do you use? Oh, I use Coinbase. That's not actually a wallet. What do you mean that's not a wallet? Just talk to them for an hour and they still won't accept that Coinbase is not actually a wallet.
So yeah, that's the point in development that we're at now, that people don't know what a wallet is even. So how can they even get close to Trace's level? And so another thing that happens in this space, we have so many people who don't know like what a wallet is, and so many people who want to store it at an exchange, that when they start to hear technical talk and they hear about fork wars and hash wars, it's just like, I don't want to be a part of it. This isn't money. It's more, sometimes it seems like a video game. People don't want to be involved in a video game. They want to be involved with money. But when you start hearing about wars and battles, and they just like, it seems like some kind of a bunch of teenagers playing some video game, and that's not a very serious thing, and it can be intimidating, it can be scary. And so I encourage people just to get the basics first. Learn how to send a Bitcoin before you even buy these other altcoins, and once you buy an altcoin, know how to store it properly. It's that simple. And try not to rely on third parties, people. That's what this is about. Oh yeah, George, sorry.
But that's one of the reasons why I started to work with Dash. Cause late last year, I thought, well, I got to get back into this, and I found Dash, and I said, wow, okay, here is actually a governance system, a method of resolving disputes. I mean, whereas Bitcoin for years has debated increasing the block size in one cycle with a simple vote, we increased our block size from 1 MB to 2 MB. So, you know, that's another thing that's nice about Dash is we have a peaceful, productive community because we have a governance system. We can make decisions. We don't have to have hash wars. So, yeah.
No one has to have a hash word, by the way, either. That's another thing. But no, and that is why some people like the good. You know, it's like ripping off a Band-Aid. Let's get this thing over with, type of thing. And that's definitely what Dash provides. But again, people say with Bitcoin that the debate is it's a feature. It's a feature, not a bug. That it takes a long time. That it's very hard to change. And I agree with that. That I think that it should, you know, if people are going to invest a lot of value in something, they don't want it to change. They don't want it that it could change suddenly. They want to know that it's going to be the same thing a year from now.
Well, look, Bitcoin Cash changed suddenly. I mean, from one moment they were doing all right, and to the next we got a hash war where it's turned off at the exchanges.
Yes. And now the value. And we're going to see what the long-term effects of that are. I think the long-term effects are going to be pretty terrible. I mean, people are going to say, why would I want to invest value in this when some megalomaniac can just take over and dictate what it's going to be now? I think it's going to be, but for the short term, who knows what's going to happen. But for the long term, I think there are going to be a lot of hard lessons learned from this. All right, so MoneyTrigz isn't MIA, but we'll do conclusionary remarks without him then. Tawanda, anything that you wanted to add? Anything? Say, the floor is yours.
Yeah. Well, I guess. I guess it's just some thoughts I have. With the whole Bitcoin Cash incident, you start to see why governance is important. It's something you need to think of day one. So, like, if 4 rich people could cause all this chaos because they can't reach an agreement, and then it has to come to this. And so, yeah. So I guess the thing I take out of this is, the importance of like trying to figure out governance from day one, or designing a model that makes it difficult for 4 rich people to who disagree to just fork off.
Excellent. Tawanda, good luck with everything there. May the exchange, may everyone in Zimbabwe wake up to cryptocurrency, because they really should. It'll help preserve their wealth better than get caught up in these crazy situations and hopefully I'll be I want to return there one of these days. It's a great place, everybody. You should visit it. It's pretty fun. It's peaceful. It's pretty peaceful. If you're hanging out in South Africa, take up the trip to Zimbabwe, man. It's right there. All right, straight out of Colombia, George, tell us why people shouldn't be thinking about Pablo Escobar and all that, or whatever people used to associate Colombia. They're people of a certain age, they hear Medellin and they think about Miami Vice or something like that.
Medellin has totally turned around its situation. It has won awards for being an innovative city. It's a center of commerce today. All of that is over with. And that leads to an interesting point, which is that the future of cryptocurrency is in the developing world. Because in the developing world, we have many, many smaller, weaker governments who cannot get in the way of crypto mass adoption. Dash has recognized this. We're making big investments in Latin America, in Africa, in Asia, for example, Thailand, perhaps the Philippines. And so I invite everyone in the crypto ecosystem who is spending time eating their tail on ego battles and worrying about ETFs and what's the next utility coin to hold their next fancy schmancy conference in the developing world and go out and talk to real, regular people, because cryptocurrency is a tool for bringing liberty and prosperity to the globe. It's not for padding your portfolio or for putting more listings on the NASDAQ. you know, let's get back to our roots. Come on down to Medellin. We're turning this into a crypto city, a dash city. Find out what we're up to, and you know, together let's build. Let's stop looking up our own butts. You know, let's get out there and get some work done.
You know, I really like your point about having a big event in a developing country. And first of all, Tawanda did have, again, and I spoke at it, the first crypto conference in Harare, Zimbabwe. That was back in 2016. No doubt there'll be some in the future. When they will be, who knows? Yep. But I'm talking about like when I was in Zimbabwe during that trip and South Africa, Laurian Gamaroff and I went to Mozambique, and we were talking with some people who wanted to have a conference. That would be a place to have a conference. I mean, a place, because Mozambique, they need crypto. They need to get their wealth out of there, but hardly anyone has crypto there yet. Anyone. I mean, it's like
But you need to pick a region where there are not huge geographical obstacles, right? So, and where people can share a common language. For example, Brazil, 200 million Portuguese speakers, or the Andean region of Latin America, where we have hundreds of millions of Spanish speakers, or perhaps the region where Ghana, Nigeria are, you know, so that you can start small, you can start with a concentration, and you can build out organically from there.
Well, I'll say this. Another thing that I think, if you're going to have an event in a developing country, and I think you're focused on getting all the actual citizens there, and I think that's great. But I think it should be intriguing for outside people too. I think it should bring some Western experience into it also. And I think that people of the United States, I mean, we're both Americans. I think, George, you're American. Yeah.
Sure. Yes,
yeah. We both grew up in America. We know that Americans don't like to travel to non-touristy places. They'll go to Paris, they'll go to London, but it's just like there's a mind block. Like when I told people I'm going to Harare, they're like, you know, they can't take it. We need a group of people from the Western world that don't have that mind block to really help set up a conference in a place that isn't super touristy, whether, you know, in one of these regions that you just talked about. And again, I
totally.
Yeah. So this was totally unplanned. We're brainstorming on here, but I do think the events are much more meaningful. I will say this, as I have been to obviously events in Silicon Valley, in South San Francisco. They're more meaningful in the developing world. There's no doubt about it. I mean, when you're going to an event in Silicon Valley, everyone's pitching an ICO. I mean, and that's great. I mean, that's great for those people that, you know, want to flip and do all those type of things. But on a level of changing individuals' lives, if you could have a real hardcore crypto event in a developing area and get a lot of people from the area to come, and then get some people from the outside to come too, it would just be a great experience. It's easier said than done, though. It is easy. It's, you know, this sounds very beautiful. This is really, I mean, hey, that's the beauty of the crypto space. There's a lot of
what else is worth doing? What else is worth doing? You guys over there in the first world, you're just eating your tails. I mean, look at this hash war. We're going nowhere until we recognize that the future of crypto is the developing world.
All right. Well, we will leave it. We will leave it on that note there. And I do commend these guys for being on the ground in the developing world and you know, trying to make a difference. All right, everybody, that's it. That was This Week in Bitcoin. I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, Disrupt Meister. Remember, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video. Check out the links below to learn all about these guys. Pound that like button. Tomorrow's show is at nighttime. I post a new show here every day. This show is every Friday. You never know what time it's going to come on at. So again, check out the archives, disruptmeister.com. Follow me on Twitter, techbalt, TECHBALT. Shabbat shalom. I will see you guys tomorrow night. Bye-bye, everyone. See ya.